Here we are in section 3.5 with numbers 19 through 24. It says write an equation of the line. All of these are going to say that, so our answers are going to be what used to be the problems. We have been given a slope, goes through a point, and so, okay, we can do that. We got a slope, we got a point, we can do that. Remember, we're going to put in the slope and then put in the point as far as our steps. Step number 1 was to put in the slope. Now I've written down below what those shortcuts were right here. If standard form is like this, that's what the slope is, with that negative sign out in front. And then that second one was to put in the point. So there we go. Let's do it now. I am going to have two different colors for what's going on, so I can show you how to get the equation in standard form and then how to get the equation in slope-intercept form. There is not a requirement as of yet for these problems in this textbook on how you should do it, so you may pay attention to just the blue or just the purple. But if you can see how they both work and the relationship between them, for example, if we were to get standard and solve for y, we'd end up with slope-intercept, then that will help you understand it a bit better. So we start with, we've got the slope is -3 over 1, and we're going through the point -4, 6. So first we put in the slope. So we have 3x plus y equals, and we don't know what it equals yet, but we do know that this number has to be able to go in there and that go in there. So we get 3 times a -4 plus 6. That's 3 times -4 is -12 plus 6 equals a -6. So that third step, write the equation, is 3x plus y equals a -6. Good. Now let's see slope-intercept. First put in the slope, so we get a y equals a -3x, but we don't know what that last number is, plus b. So we do know that -4 has to go here, and 6 has to go there and make it work. So 6 equals positive 12 plus b. Subtract 12 and we get b equals a -6. Let's write that equation down now. It's all together, it's y equals a -3x and b is a -6. That means that's our intercept, our y-intercept. And look at this. If you were to subtract this over there, these two equations are exactly the same. That's what we need you to see. Number 20. We have a slope of 5/8. And we're going through the point 3, 6. So stick in 5/8 and we get 5x minus 8y. Again, notice that this is always the opposite sign. Equals, and we don't know what it equals until we stick these numbers in. 3 goes in for x and 6 goes in for y. So we get 15 minus 48. That looks to be like a -33. And then write that equation up here. 5x minus 8y equals a -33. For the slope-intercept of the same thing, y equals, put the slope in, 5/8 x plus b. We don't know what the b is, so we stick in the point 3, 6, and we get 6 equals 15/8 plus b. Subtract 15/8 from both sides. You can punch that in your calculator, or if you can see, this is 48/8 minus 15/8 gives us 33/8. So now we write it all together and we get y equals 5/8 x plus 33/8. And again, if you take this guy right here and solve it for y, subtract the 5x over, divide everything by -8, you end up with this exact line. They're exactly the same line. I think that's kind of cool. Number 21, write an equation of the line that has slope -2/3 and goes through the point 1, -3. Stick this in. That's a 2x plus a 3y. Again, make sure that is the opposite sign there. Equals, and we don't know what it equals, but let's stick the 1 in there and the -3 in there, and we get 2 minus 9 is a -7. Now write the equation, and we get 2x plus 3y equals a -7. Okay, now for slope-intercept. Put the slope in. That's y equals -2/3 x plus b. Stick the point in, 1, negative 3. We get negative 3 equals 2, negative 2/3 plus b. Add 2/3 to both sides. Add 2/3 over here, and we get b equals, look at that, negative 3 is the same as negative 9/3 plus 2, that's a negative 7/3. And so we write down the equation. We have y equals negative 2/3 x minus 7/3. What do you think will happen if we solve for y? Zoop! This equation and that equation are exactly the same. Number 22, we have slope of negative 4/5, and it goes through the point 5, negative 3. So 4x plus 5y equals, and we stick in that point. Let's put a 5 right there and a negative 3 there, and we end up with 20. Is that right? 20 minus 15. So we get 5. Write the equation out. We have 4x plus 5y. We got that from the slope, and now we know it has to equal a 5. Slope-intercept. Y equals negative 4/5 x plus b. What is that? 5, negative 3 when we stick in the point, and we get negative 3 equals negative 4 plus b. Oh, look at that. That was nice. Those two canceled. Add the 4 over there, and we get b equals 1. So now write the equation, and we get y equals negative 4/5 x plus, now we know what b is, plus a 1. And guess what would happen? Yep, you guessed it. If we solve for y over here, it will turn into that equation right there. Number 23, slope equals 2, or 2 over 1. I'll put that down here. That'll help a little bit. And goes through the point 0, 5. Put in the slope, 2x minus 1y equals, and now we stick in these points, put a 0 there and a 5 there, and we get 0 minus 5 is a negative 5. And write this equation down. 2x minus y equals a negative 5. Slope-intercept, put in the point. I put in the slope. Y equals 2x plus b. Now what's interesting about this is they gave us the slope, the y-intercept. So I already know that guy's a 5. So we can write it down right away. Y equals 2x, and it goes through the point 0, 5. And yes, if you solve for that, you will get that guy right there. Number 24. Slope is negative 1/7 and goes through the point negative 4, 7. So 1x plus, again opposite sign, 7y equals, and now we stick in that point. Stick in a negative 4 there and a 7 there. Wow, that's negative 4 plus 49. That equals like 45. Wow, it's pretty big. So then we can write it down. X plus 7y equals 45. And now the slope-intercept. Stick in the slope. That's y equals negative 1/7 x plus b. We don't know what b is. That's the y-intercept. But we can stick in these points, negative 4 here and 7 there. So we get 7 equals positive 4/7 plus b. So subtract 4/7 to both sides, subtract 4/7, and we get 49/7 minus 4/7. That's 45/7 positive equals b. So now we can write down the equation as y equals negative 1/7 x. We knew that one. And now it's plus 45/7. And yeah, if you solve for y, you'd subtract the x over, divide by 7, and you turn into that equation exactly. So hopefully you can start to see the relationships, that these two equations are the exact same thing, that these shortcuts will help you to identify an equation in standard form and slope-intercept form, and you may actually start to form opinions. The slope-intercept is a little bit easier to graph with. It has the slope, it has the intercept without doing any work at all, but it often involves fractions. The standard form avoids the fractions, is a little bit more difficult to graph because you actually have to like stick in 0 and solve an equation, or stick in 5 and solve an equation to get a point, and then the slope is a little more convoluted as far as that shortcut goes. So they both have their strengths, and people will prefer one over the other. Good.